So I want to put together a longer video on some of the potential forgiveness scenarios for Parent Plus borrowers that also have student borrowers. Uh, so at this point, there's some challenges to the student loan forgiveness proposal from the Biden administration and the U.S. Department of Education that came out on August 24th. So this is not necessarily a guarantee, but these are this is some information on what the different examples might be of how forgiveness might look for a typical family who has Parent Plus borrowers as well as student borrowers. So let's look at the first information. Parent Plus borrowers are indeed eligible for $10,000 of forgiveness on their borrowed debt, and they would need to meet the income thresholds. And the income thresholds are $125,000 for an individual or $250,000 for a married couple or a head of household family. So as long as you make below those income thresholds, you would be eligible for the $10,000 of forgiveness as a Parent Plus borrower. Each of a Parent Plus borrower's students who they've borrowed Parent Plus funds for are also eligible for $10,000 of forgiveness on their individual undergraduate debt or graduate debt, as long as their parents are eligible for the income threshold. And if in a family, two parents took out separate loans, and it could even be separate loans for the same child. There are some situations where families have taken out loans, like sophomore and junior year, the mother took out the loans, and freshman and senior year, the father took out the loans. So they would both parents would then have Parent Plus loan accounts, which would be considered separate, and they would each be eligible for $10,000 of forgiveness on their own federal student loan accounts, even if it was for the same child's education. There are plenty of families where one parent takes out all the Parent Plus loans for all of the children if they are taking out such loans. And there's also families where one parent will take out loans for one child, another parent will take out loans for another child. So there's lots of different scenarios there. Now, if the student was eligible for a Pell Grant of any amount at any point in their education, they would indeed be eligible for the $20,000 in total forgiveness. They wouldn't need to have $10,000 worth of a Pell Grant that was awarded to them. They could have any number of a Pell Grant. They could have $500 of a Pell Grant at any time in their education. So now let's look at what would happen if a Parent Plus borrower also had federal student loans of their own. So if a Parent Plus borrower had federal loans of their own in addition to the Parent Plus loans that they had, and during their own educational journey they received a Pell Grant, then they would be eligible for the $20,000 of forgiveness, not just the $10,000. But if the student received a Pell Grant, the Parent Plus borrower wouldn't automatically be eligible for the Pell Grant. They would have to have a Pell Grant award in their own previous educational journey and loan balance. All right, so let's look at these three examples that I wrote down here. The first one, this is going to be examples for what kind of forgiveness scenarios could come for an individual family that has Parent Plus borrowers and student borrowers. So for example one, we have our family, parent A, parent B, and 3 children attending college or graduated. So parent A took out Parent Plus loans on child 1 and child 3. Parent B took out Parent Plus loans on child 2. So both parents had Parent Plus loans. The family has income that's under $250,000, so they make the income threshold. The total family forgiveness for this family will be $50,000. That's $10,000 for each parent on the Parent Plus accounts that they have, and $10,000 for each child on each of their individual federal student loan accounts, which would be the Stafford loans, that the students can have up to $27,000 worth of Stafford loans during their undergraduate education. So that family in that example one would have a total forgiveness of $50,000. Example two, the family would be the same: parent A, parent B, and three children attending college. Parent A and B both have loans from their own college borrowing that included Pell Grants, and all three children at some point during their undergraduate years received a Pell Grant award. The family has income under $250,000, so the total forgiveness for that family would be $100,000, $20,000 for each parent on their Parent Plus loan balances, and $20,000 for each child on their individual loan balances. Now let's go to example 3, and this will be the last example. Family is parent A, parent B, and 3 children, all who have received Pell Grants during their education. Child 1 and Child 2 are attending college, and Child 3 has graduated and is filing their own taxes. But in this situation, the family has income over $250,000. But Child 3, because they've graduated and they have their own income of $50,000, is filing their own taxes. So they no longer fall under the family income threshold. They fall under their own threshold. But the total forgiveness for this family will only be $20,000 only for Child 3's student loan accounts, because the parent and the other 2 children's forgiveness is based on the family income of over $250,000, so they would not qualify for any forgiveness under this proposal, even though during their academic years they may all have gotten Pell Grants. If the income is over $250,000 at the time, and right now they're going to be looking at 2020 or 2021 income tax returns, and your adjusted gross income on those income tax returns on line 11 of your 1040 form to base what your income is for these qualifying thresholds. So Child 3's forgiveness in this example 3 is based on their individual income since they file their own taxes, and they would qualify for the full $20,000 in forgiveness because it doesn't matter what the family income is, because their forgiveness is based on their own income. It's a little bit confusing, but it is good to kind of look at this and see what the options would be for a family that has significantly low income and the parents and the students have educational histories of Pell Grants. There can be a significant amount of forgiveness within even an individual family. So we will come back with other scenarios if we can come up with some different ones, and hopefully this is helpful for Parent Plus borrowers who have student borrowers.